1, 2, 1, 2. Welcome to the NYCHA podcast. We are here in the building. Mic check, Money Mike. You here?
Yeah.
All right, standing man. You here?
1, 2, I'm in the house.
Standing man, if you don't mute your phone. We done said that before we shot it. And you still got it up.
What's up?
I did say that, right?
Sure did.
Okay. Share, and check in. Let us know where you're from. Happy to have you take a ride. We're running a little behind today, but you know it happens. It's hot out. Somebody say, how hot is it?
Crazy hot.
Somebody say, how hot is it?
Crazy hot.
Can somebody say, how hot is it?
101 degrees. What's up?
Well,
Are y'all with me?
I'm
asking y'all to say, like, there's a call and response. I'm saying
How hot
somebody
is
say,
it? Well,
say how hot is it?
I don't know. I would just say hot. I don't know.
Okay, so what I was asking the team to say is for somebody to say, how hot is it? So I can say it's 93 degrees.
Oh, you
But
want
they wasn't here with me. But I was saying somebody say it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Remember back in the day when they
how
say
hot
somebody
is it?
scream? No. Remember back in the day they say somebody scream? People went, ah. Okay, now we all
Yeah, but when
brand new.
somebody says somebody scream, but nobody says somebody say somebody scream.
But you know they say somebody scream. Okay, now we got it. Who's on first, who's on second? It's one of those days. All I said was somebody say how hot it is.
How
so I
hot
can throw
it
it.
is.
It's 93 degrees. Thank you. We happy to have you all here. Share. Check in. Let us know where you're from, your city, your borough. If you're in public housing, your NYCHA development. Let's go. We are in the building. NYCHA, one people.
One NYCHA, one people.
One NYCHA, one people.
All right. See, okay. Carmen is here. Hey, Carmen. Kim is here. Emily's here. Brenda Temple is here from Ocean Bay, Rockaway. On the board. Tyree Ricks is here.
Look, everybody's saying,
Emily's,
how hot is it?
Yeah.
How hot is it?
Oh, okay. Emily said hell high. Thank you, Carmen. She got it. She said, how hot is it? Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Audrey. See, they doing it. Okay. I don't know these guys today. They
We're
weren't
slow today.
I don't know. I mean, and they claim to be hip hop guys, you know. Stan used to rock the mic, and you know what I'm saying. I know Rock, if he was here, he would have got it. I hope. LG now in Clinton Hills co-ops. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's get started, guys. All right, we got a few people in the room. Let's go. Get the music. All right, so once again, welcome to the NYCHA podcast. As all of y'all know, I'm Sandra Coleman. I'm a public housing resident. If you don't know, I reside out in Isaac Houses, one of the co-founders of the Homes Isaac Coalition, and co-founded this NYCHA podcast with this crew, and of course, Rock Logic, of course, as well. So we jump into our week, and then we got a topic today to just talk about and ride out with y'all. And you know we like to engage in the everyday politics, because this is something that we want public housing residents to start voting, getting involved, running for office, and just allowing your politician, your elected official, to actually work for you. And this is something that we want to let you all know that there is power in public housing, and if you don't live in public housing, but there's power, and we can bring the next mayor in, the governor. There's so much we could do because it's strengthening the numbers of us if we all come together and get behind one candidate. But we got to vet them out, right? We got to weed them out, see who's for us, who's not for us, and that's something that we got to look into and build power together. My week was pretty good, just a normal day-to-day. Interacting in the community, helping our residents, a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, helping people get repairs in my developments and beyond. And I'm happy to be able to help people and help them learn to advocate for themselves. I went out to Atlantic City yesterday. That was fun. I went out with Chambers, Memorial Baptist Church, so shout out to that church. We went out there, a bus load of us, and we had a nice time.
Great.
I was hanging out with Esther DeVore. We'll bring her on eventually. She has a drummer. I forgot what it's called, but it's a drummer. She's gonna kill me for saying this because I'm not getting it right. I don't have it in front of me. But she does drumming with the youth. And she has a drumette program, and she wants to get that back really rolling. And a lot of youth have thrived through that. And so that's basically it. And check out is it called The Get Down? The Get Down on Netflix. I'm watching that, and it's really good. I'm from the Boogie Down Bronx, so it really makes me reminisce about the Bronx and of course of hip hop. And they were talking about Grandmaster Flash, and all of that, and it's really, really, really good. Money Mike, how was your week?
Money Mike, smooth Money Mike.
Smooth.
Well, y'all already know y'all try to take it for me. But yes, my week been smooth. And yes, kind of smooth to be honest. This table, I had to do another table like this in East New York. Oh my Lord, this hard table. When I say this table was about 1,000 pounds, it took about 5 or 6 of us.
Wow.
To move this table.
Wow.
Did that, and I also got I have an auction party scene to do.
You have a what now?
An auction party scene to do tomorrow for the next
Okay.
event.
You're acting, right?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a show coming out called Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
All right.
I was an attendee first, but now they got me a security. They need a big guy to be security.
Big guy.
All right.
Big guy. Give yourself some.
All right.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'3" and a half.
Okay. What about you, Stan?
I'm 6'4".
I still dispute that. I stand next.
Got you by half an inch, brother.
I stand by Stan. I still say he ain't 6 something.
But I'm older now, so I bend over a lot.
You sure? Okay, you bend over?
I'm
Okay.
6'4". I'm standing straight up. I'm 6'4".
Go ahead, finish up.
But yes, I'm having early morning ahead of me. But besides doing a lot of running around getting ready for this thing, because we had to do a lot of COVID tests and fittings to do for the thing to come up next week. And then I also had to go to the schools and build some studios. And
That's
plus,
great. That's great.
And then plus my mother's birthday just passed the 19th.
The 19th?
Okay.
Mom, did she watch the show?
I don't even know. I'm gonna ask her to be honest.
Happy birthday to you.
This show? Yeah, she watches on.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mama. Last name?
Jones.
Happy birthday to you. Let her know we sung her on the show. You even got in on it. Wow, okay.
But yes, that was my week. Just hand it over to Stan, the man.
Kick it on.
All right.
Kick it to him.
Well, I just want to point out something that I found disturbing this week. I saw our Governor Hochul pass something for the Empire State Development Corp to get billions of dollars, to do this renovation of Penn Station. They're going to build, as I mentioned before, 10 skyscrapers. And the thing that really disturbs me is that one of the people that would be benefiting from this is a gentleman by the name of Stephen Roth. Now Stephen Roth is somebody that donates money to Trump. Donates money against abortion rights. Yet Hochul, who's a Democrat, is going to be benefiting this gentleman and giving him tax breaks to build these skyscrapers, billions of dollars. So what they're telling us is that, again, a commuter is more important than somebody living in NYCHA. Why would you spend money, in my opinion, to fix Penn Station when you got people that have broken houses that they're living in? So where's the priority? And then have a Republican billionaire, profit and gets billions of dollars in tax breaks. And then here goes the kicker. They don't even know how much it's going to cost. So they gave this guy like a blank check. Here's a blank check to do whatever. There's no regulation of how much it's going to cost, nothing. Wow. So most of these development projects, whenever they start with a number, it usually exceeds that number. So we starting here with a case where there is not even a number. So they can go on and on.
The state has this money to do this.
Right. Yeah.
They can't take care of public housing.
Can't help public housing.
Or the housing issue.
Right. This shows the priorities again does not reflect our needs and what we want. I know folks got a choice to make with Hochul and who, if you're gonna vote for or not. And I guess it's maybe the lesser of all evils, right? Maybe we have no choice in this case. But it's just sad that this is the kind of official that we get. The same person that was in favor of privatizing NYCHA, in favor of the blueprint.
Right.
Now she comes out with something like this, and the mayor's on board. Everybody's on board. So it just once again shows you where the priorities really are.
Yeah.
It does not have anything to do with us. So we got to pay attention to this stuff because they tell you there's no money, but there's a lot of money for everything else. But there's never no money when it comes down to NYCHA.
And when was the last time that Penn Station was renovated? Because it had to be renovated in the past.
Yeah, it's been, and I go through it.
It looks fine.
It's not.
I mean, I know.
I see these train stations. Every train station
They have
always
pop-ups. They have pop-up shops down there and everything.
Yeah, I mean, matter of fact, 100% correct. So all they're really doing is making it more amenable to commuters, and not even commuters, but tourists.
Well,
and all the rest of that, and all the tourist money. I get all of that. But you can't put that ahead of the lives of people that are here right now, that are literally dying in our apartments right now. So just another blatant example, of the same people doing the same thing. The same people will benefit, and the same people will lose, and it's always black and brown people, and the most vulnerable. So I was just disturbed to hear that, and I think these are things that we gotta pay attention to as we continue this fight. Don't let them tell you there's no money.
Right.
There's money.
Oh, of course.
They're just not spending on us.
On us, on black and brown people, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and we need to ask Governor Hochul, since, because Governor Cuomo put the, what is it called, the state of emergency. We would declare the state of emergency under him.
Right.
And she was his lieutenant governor. Now she's the governor. What is she doing about that? Because as I see, and I think everybody else see, or I believe everybody else know, a state of emergency is serious.
Right.
And NYCHA was declared a state of emergency in 2018.
Right.
We received the monitorship in 2019.
Absolutely.
But with that said, you would think a whole lot would have been done.
Absolutely.
It hasn't happened.
Absolutely.
From funding and everything. She has a lot of power as the governor. You know what I'm saying? And our elected officials, throwing millions of dollars to NYCHA does not help repair our homes.
Right.
Because it's not enough. We need the billions infused, as I say over and over. We need the billions of dollars infused immediately to get the work done.
Absolutely.
And until then, you nickel and diming us, it's not going to happen. And we're going to still live in deplorable conditions. Yes, some developments or some apartments are better than others, but some people are really, really, really suffering. A particular lady in my building actually did some repairs in her home herself. And who's to say when you messing with things that you shouldn't, or you harming yourself?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because of asbestos and stuff like that. But that's a whole nother animal. But yeah, finish up.
And I would like to say, I'm not going to mention sorority, but I did speak to a sorority that one of my kids that I raised, that I'm like a godfather to, is affiliated with, and they're interested, in working with One NYCHA and figuring out exactly what that will mean. I did also have a good talk with PSL again, and so I'll be attending their meeting this coming Tuesday, and they want to get involved with the boots on the ground to kind of help us get the word out in that way. And we're going to be starting in Ravenswood in September, as a first launch, to really begin to do these community meetings and take the message from just the podcast out into the community. So I'm excited to get into that phase of the work. Some lawsuits we're gonna file. I spoke with Queens Legal Services. They're wanting to work with us as well to bring lawsuits. We filed when I was at Justice for All against Queensbridge, but we will be filing against Ravenswood, against Astoria houses, and also Woodside. And that'll be a One NYCHA initiative. So I'm excited that we're about to enter into that phase, and look out, we're just getting started.
Yeah, all right. You ain't gonna give him that? He said all that. Give brother something. He said a whole lot. Yeah, One NYCHA is about to be real busy. Busier. Yeah, beyond, as you said, we're not just a podcast. We're a movement.
Right, exactly.
At the end of the day, and we want to, work with people, work alongside people. PSL, Party for Social Liberation.
That's what they are.
Done work with them.
And they work with you, right?
Yeah,
it's part of,
yep. In El Barrio. They were, involved with the Homesizer Coalition. So, I sent some of them down to, Fulton houses.
Right.
In 2019. So, yeah, because they were talking about going rad, that
absolutely.
pack with Fulton houses. So I was like, y'all gotta go see about them because my best friend lives out there. Shout out to Poochie.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but so let's segue because we got a lot to talk about and unpack today, guys. Topic today. NYCHA community centers matter, right? They matter,
Absolutely,
right? Come
yes.
on, they matter. Come
Yes.
on, come on.
Yes.
So is your center privatized? Is your center privatized? That's the question we want to ask our viewership. Is your center and your public housing development privatized? And I could say Isaac Center is privatized. It's been privatized for some years. A lot of people wasn't aware. I started looking at how things were done, and I started asking questions, and I found out that we were actually privatized. And they have a way of doing this without the residents even knowing.
So let me ask a question. So you're saying that the community centers are private, but not the development itself. So they're privatizing the community centers.
Yes, that's one
even
of the
before
things.
they privatize
They
the
were
development.
doing that before the infill, all that. They've been doing this slowly. Either they're shutting them down, closing them,
Right.
padlocking them up, or they're going under privatization. You know, so NYCHA, of course,
Can they
still
have
owns
a
it.
private community center in the public development?
Well, that becomes
It's
the
about
issue.
funding. It's about funding. Yeah.
But nobody in that development have any say so over that community?
Don't even know. That's how NYCHA operates. We didn't even know.
Well,
And
we
if
got-
it happened to us, it happened to others. I have an email that I did a research. I have to pull that up, and it was several developments. And when you look at how it's scoped out, it would say if it goes NYCHA, then it's still with NYCHA. But then it might say a particular entity, and it should change then because we now are under Goddard Riverside. So Isaac Center, now it moved to Goddard Riverside. So they took over. They're over us now. So it's privatized on top of privatization. So
Wow.
yeah, so they absorbed. Yeah.
What's the point of the presidents, vice presidents, like if they don't have no say so on what could be happening to
Well,
buildings and development?
Well, I would say if you're not communicating with the resident council, which I believe some developments, I know with us they hold meetings, like our resident association holds meetings there, but are they really working with the center? Probably not. The Homes Isaac Coalition does partner with the center, so that's how we get to go to different meetings. We find out a lot more than other people, and we inform the residents. But if your resident association is not really just using the center to house their meetings, and they're not working with the director and leaders of the center, then they wouldn't know, or they just didn't care. I can't speak to that, but that's a good question. But I think that's individually to each development. It starts with a relationship.
well, we have one with the director in Ravenswood, and I guess that's a perfect example of a community center that's kind of underutilized. And I don't know if it's private or not, Mike. That's probably something we gotta look into. I know.
Checked, it was under Jacob.
It's under Jacob East, so I'm imagining that it's not private, but I'm not getting to that because Jacob East and such, they've been
Well,
supportive.
what is Jacob Reese?
Jacob
It's under
Reese-
Jacob Reese. I know what Jacob, but is Jacob?
It's under Jacob East. It is. It's like
Last time I checked.
it is absolutely.
So
they're-
then that means it's privatized, right? Wouldn't it be?
no, what Jacob East is a
Talking
non.
about Ravens?
Ravenswood, yeah.
No, privatization could be under a nonprofit too.
Okay, well,
Entity, like medical coverage.
Right.
There's medical coverage that is listed as a nonprofit, but they still, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's an entity. So if it's no longer under, if Jacob Reese has taken over Ravenswood, yeah.
Well, I would say it's not under NYCHA, so I know Jake. Well, I guess that's a question.
Yeah, we gotta
'Cause
look into
Jacob
it,
East
look into
is a nonprofit, and they're funded, by a lot of people. I'm gonna be honest, who are on the other side of the fight than we are. A lot of people that give money to Jacob East are also in favor of some of the development that's going on in Queens. It becomes maybe a bit of a conflict. When you have groups that want to come in and speak against those things. So I know it hasn't been an issue with us in Ravenswood, nor has it been an issue with us when I was a justice for all at Jacob East. We was able to go in there and say what we want. But I do know in your center, Mike, it's so underutilized. And I want to ask you, Sandra, since yours is private, are the youth in your development utilizing the community center in the same ways as a larger community since it's private? I know you mentioned that there's some disparities there.
Oh, definitely. We went from, we had after school programs and so forth, And a lot of that still exists, but not housed where we're at.
Right.
So our kids would have to go from 93rd and 1st to 95th and 3rd Avenue to
Right.
an after-school program, which makes no sense.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we used to have it there, because my son went there and it worked for me.
Right.
There are a lot of, they have some initiatives because there's two centers. There's the Isaac Center, then there's the Holmes Center.
Right.
But they call them both the Isaac Center because they're privatized now. And they call the one on the Isaac side the Senior Center, which is not. It's
Right.
an Isaac Center, it's a community center. You can go into your community center, ask for copies to be made. You can send an email and get something printed. Like, use your community center, rather it's privatized or not. Use them, they are a resource for you.
Right.
They do different programs, GD, cooking, that's on the other side, that's on the home side. But one of the things is, and the problems that I've spoken, and we've been meeting with the director and, with the leadership there, is all these initiatives that they do with the youth, they're youth that's coming throughout the city to our
Right, so it's
center.
not- right.
They're not actually gearing and reaching out to what's there, which to me is a disenfranchisement to our community.
Right.
And I speak out about it because it's just so unjust. Because how can you have all these activities and our kids are not benefiting, our youth are not thriving from it? You
Right,
understand what I'm saying?
right.
So they don't even know that it's there. And I'm watching these come in with their backpacks from somewhere else, because we have we have a workforce program there
Right,
too.
right.
Yeah.
And
That's city funded.
I hate to put you on the spot, but do you find that it's more people of color or not that are using your particular center?
It's still people. I think it's still people of color. From what little bit I've seen,
Right.
But it's not an influx. Like, it should be. If you have a GED program, then it should be kids in our community, and even if it's a development or two down the block,
Right.
they should be coming over. But if you don't know that's there, my son got his GED, but
Right.
not there. He went, I believe it was to Union Settlement or something, which was up
Right, I remember you- I
further
know you-
up.
yeah, I know you
So
said it.
why not right here if you were offering
Right.
it? This was my oldest. This was years ago though. So this is the thing, like the resources are there, but they're not there for the people, which is a problem, because even with our food and everything we do in our center, there's people from the area,
Right.
95th, 100, 100th Street, East Harlem. They all come to our center because they
Right.
say we have a lot of good programs. Like, I teach bio writing
Right,
there on
right.
Thursdays at 10 a.m. Everybody, you're welcome to come in. You can come in physically or you can join virtual. I do that. I do that service. That's free. I don't
Right.
charge or nothing like that, because that's me giving back to my community. But there's so much resources. They got dancing. They have a lot of things.
Right.
So. No,
What I would say is, looking at what's happening with the kids today, I'm a father with a teenager, and I just read in the paper today, there's a great percentage of kids not going to school right now. I mean, there's 250,000 less kids going to school, so the numbers are drastic. I mean, so it appears to me that these community centers would be a great resource,
Yeah.
since kids are not getting the education that they were since the pandemic. The numbers are continuing to drop, and kids are literally just dropping out. So the need for community centers to bridge that gap is probably more critical now than ever. And for that not to be happening, and for it to be benefiting people who do not live in the development, who are the kids who need it the most, who are the kids who probably may have had issues with internet during the whole pandemic. Those are the kids that need these services more than anybody else.
Of course.
And it's just a shame. It's a shame.
We're working to get the Homes Isaac Coalition, we had a very small tutoring program last, what you would call, not a semester, but this last school year.
Right.
So I'm thinking higher education, my bad. But during this last school year, we had very young kids coming. And, we knew that because of the pandemic, because of them learning virtually, some kids were some of the, what they
Right.
can receive via education. So we had some tutors coming out, working with them. It was a very small group. We might have had about 8.
Right.
Maybe 8 to 6 kids, but you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
Everything starts small.
yeah.
So we are planning to bring back the after-school program, and that should be maybe about 25, but that's still not good.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the bandwidth over there is much larger than that.
Right.
You know, because we would serve the community was served from maybe first grade on up to
Right.
you know, maybe fifth or whatever age. That is the cutoff for the after school. But we're gonna start it back at 25, and we had to we might scale it to 30. And when I say we, it's because the coalition, we sat down, you know, with the leadership director and everything, because we want this back in our community.
Right.
And I think once we get it back, then we can expand it even more. But you got to start back slow, because it's like starting from scratch, because it's been disbanded.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. And for a community center to be shut down is a crime. You know, that's just terrible. I know as a kid coming up, you know, I wasn't one to go into the community center so much, but I know kids and youth need activities. Maybe not you can speak about you coming up and going to Ravenswood, but I know for me, you know, the activities were the thing that made